So my partner Emma has read the book of Where the Crawdads Sing, but I haven't. However, today we also got to check out the movie and how does it compare to the book, and what was my experience of seeing this for the first time ever going in as a newcomer. We'll stick around and find out. What's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for tuning into this movie review. If you're brand new, please press the red subscribe button down below, completely free, and I would love to see you again here on the channel next time. But if you're coming back, thank you for tuning into this movie review. So I'm going to do something different on this video, and I'm going to be doing this going forward also. So please leave any comments below if you like this layout of the video. But primarily, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. And then after I give my score, I'm going to go into spoilers. So I will, of course, give warning before that happens. So let's get straight into it. Where the Crawdads Sing is a book written by Delia Owens, but the movie adaptation is directed by Olivia Newman. Now, she's only ever done one movie previously, so I'm unfamiliar with her works, and this is an introduction into her, but I'm very well known with the producer, who is Reese Witherspoon. Also, another fun fact here is that Taylor Swift performs an original song called Carolina, which is very haunting, but we're going to get into that. And of course, our main star in this movie is Daisy Edgar Jones. Going into the plot of Where the Crawdads Sing, Harris Dickinson's character of Chase, his body turns up dead. Police find that body, and all of a sudden, the blame goes on to a girl nicknamed as the Marsh Girl, who is Catherine Clark, who is played by Daisy Edgar Jones, and it's up to her lawyer to get her off the hook and find out ultimately who killed Chase Andrews. And I'm going to be honest with you, when this movie ended, I found myself, I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah. Firstly, I've got to give props to the cinematography, that this is shot in Louisiana. So big shout out to a good friend, Stephen. Reckon if you are watching this, my man, he lives in Louisiana, and he said that the lines for the cinema have been crazy to support this movie, and I'm not really surprised, but the cinematography is beautiful. The way that this was shot to make it as like marshland, it really gives you that feeling and vibes as if you were living there yourself in an isolated house that's in the middle of the marsh, in the middle of nowhere. No one's around. All you've got is the swamp, water, and kind of like forest as such. That's all you have. And you really got to feel and soak in that atmosphere. And I've got to give props to Ed Stew because it really plays a big part of this movie. So the cinematography is beautiful, and the music composed by Michael Dana was also beautiful too. The music plays a big part of this, even in the undertones or times where the movie does amp up. That music played throughout really gives you an essence and ambience about the atmosphere that you are currently soaked in, and it really helped build up this world and this location setting to the point where the music had its own character, and I really enjoyed that in this movie. And I've also got to give big props to Taylor Swift with her original song of Carolina. It's very haunting and very dark. The casting is fantastic all around, whether it's Daisy Edgar Jones, who's playing Catherine Clark as our normal, just current timeline version, or whether it's Jojo Regina, who plays a young Kaya, because that is her nickname, Kaya. I've got to give props to this child actor, Jojo Regina. She was fantastic. The scenes that we get her in, she played it off so well. And the child acting was, because, you know, at times, child acting can be a little bit temperamental. Sometimes they're really good, or sometimes they're not. And I always try to be fair where I can. But this actress stole the show. She was great in the scenes that we got her in. But again, our supporting cast were really good. I can't fault any of the performances in here. Everyone gave a strong performance. Even Harris Dickinson as Chase Andrews. Yeah, you just could tell that you did not like this character. He also had a really punchable face as well. I don't know what it was. Yeah, he had a really punchable face, and I was like, I want to knock this guy out myself. I probably couldn't, but I felt like that anyway. Yeah, I really liked the tension that's built up in here. it is a slow burn mystery for sure. And that slow burn for me sometimes can be a bit of a hindrance for sure. But actually in this case, I didn't mind it. I was invested. I was really kind of on edge at times, being like, okay, so what is going on? Who's done this murder? Why is it being done? So forth as this movie plays out, where we get sometimes flashbacks from in the past, and then it comes back to our present day, whatever the case should be. I was still involved and really embraced in all of that, and I actually really enjoyed this movie. I felt that it didn't bore me at any point. This is 2 hours and 5 minutes. I actually wish the movie went on longer, but I'm gonna get that into my spoilers. Yeah, I could have watched this for another 10-15 minutes easily, and I would have really enjoyed that. And again, the direction style of Olivia Newman, I definitely think after this movie, she's definitely going to be one to keep an eye out for, because her directing style was done so well. But again, I think this also helps with the production by Reese Witherspoon. Yeah, get those two to team up again in the future. I would personally love to see that. And this, for me, was actually an introduction into Daisy Edgar-Jones. Now, I've heard she's a great actress, and I didn't doubt that for a single second, but she proves in this movie, for me, as a first time watching this actress, that she is really, really good. And she's definitely got a bright future ahead of her, and I can see that she is going to be a big name and going to be scouted for a lot of projects going forward in the future. Out of our side characters, I've also got to give a big shout out to Taylor John Smith, who plays Tate, and Sterling Mason Jr., who plays a character called Jumpin'. Those two were fantastic, and especially Jumpin', in the scenes that we get with him. He's such a likable guy, and you really like this character, and you're also rooting for this character, and you want to see more of them on screen. So if I have to go into any negatives with Where the Crawdads Sing, I'd say the biggest one for me is the way the movie kind of wraps up at the end, because for the first basically 1 hour 58, 1 hour 59 minutes, however long it is, but then the last 5 minutes is sped up so quickly, and so much stuff happens in this end scene, which we're going to get into. I felt that this movie could have really took that extra 10 minutes to explain some more of that ending. I felt like it could have definitely done with that, and I would have liked to have seen that play out, because we get this slow burn throughout, and then the last 5 minutes is kind of like all in one go, and I'm like, this is a bit too quick. This has happened so quick, X, Y, and Z, and I just wish we got that explored a little bit more. And also the whole courtroom scene about this whole movie, it's not so much a negative, but I would have liked to have seen more time in the courtroom, maybe a bit more tensions flaring up in that said courtroom also. So overall, I very much enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a great slow burn movie, and my interest was kept throughout. So my final score for Where the Crawdads Sing is an 8 out of 10. So thank you so much for tuning into this non-spoiler part of the review. Please leave any and all comments down below so we can continue the discussion down there. So for anyone who is interested, I'm now going to go into the spoiler element of it and why I've given it an 8 out of 10 specifically. So Where the Crawdads Sing. So throughout this whole movie, we're wondering, okay, well, who killed Chase Andrews after him and our main character, Catherine Clark, get into this love interest? It turns out he's been cheating on her the whole time, and he's also tried to perform non-consensual sexual activity. Let's just put it that way. You probably know what I mean. And so immediately, like, wow, I hate this character. As soon as he came on screen, I really did not like this character. I, as I say, wanted to punch him in the face. I really, really did not like this character, and by the end of it, it definitely proved why I didn't. So the whole court scene is about who killed him, essentially, and they blame Daisy Edgar-Jones' character, Catherine Clark. Now, she does get off the murder. She's found not guilty. So therefore, you're wondering, okay, well, who did kill him? Because he had this shell necklace around him the whole movie that she gave him earlier, but it wasn't found on his body. So you're kind of wondering, okay, well, did this marsh girl, the quiet girl, kill him? Or was it her former lover, Tate, played by Taylor John Smith? You're kind of wondering who did it. We then get a little bit of a time jump where Catherine Clark and Tate are actually back together after all of this. And then all of a sudden, it cuts abruptly to Jumpin', the old man from the shop who has seen her from being as a kid grown up and supported her all this time. Suddenly he's dead. Now apparently in the book that also happens, but I wasn't a fan of it because it just jumped immediately like this from literally the scene before was him putting her books in his shop window, but immediately was that he died. So obviously it was a time jump, but it came from literally absolutely nowhere. And I love the character. So that scene where you're meant to feel really emotional about his funeral and his death, you really, really don't, because it just jumped that quick. You don't even get time, because then the next scene afterwards jumps straight to Catherine Clark and Tate. A bit of a time jump as such, even further into the future. And I'm just like, this is just done so quickly. And then kind of the big puzzle piece of all this is who killed Chase Andrews. Because in the book, it turns out all of a sudden after a heart attack, Kaya dies in her boat, Catherine Clark, and Tate's obviously left and at this point by himself. Apparently in the book he finds under a floorboard where it's like this kind of journal or something that Kaya's hidden. Obviously in the book it just shows that he has it. And he actually finds the missing necklace that was reported of Chase Andrews' body in this, and a poem by Catherine Clark to say that she was the one who pushed him off this big tower and killed him. But in the movie, you don't see that murder. You don't see that poem that she wrote where she gives a confession of basically that she killed him. You don't get that. So this whole murder mystery never is really resolved. There's definitely parts where it foreshadows that she's done it in this movie, which is cleverly done, but doesn't outright tell you this is how it's done. This is a reenactment of how the events went down. We don't get that. So I would have personally liked to have seen that, and a little bit not so much of the time jump towards the end of all these events literally happen within 5 minutes, if that, and then the movie kind of just ends. I would have liked that being a little bit further expanded on, so that's why I give it an 8 out of 10. So if you're still around for this portion of the review, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.